Lole-Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise on behalf of New Zealand First to speak to this Corrections Amendment Bill. Mr. Chairman, I must reiterate in this House here today that New Zealand First will always put the safety of our community as a priority, as well as supporting law enforcement officers and staff to carry out their roles effectively and efficiently. Now, last night, during this bill's second reading, I emphasised that this Corrections Amendment Bill is one of the few bills being introduced in the House that will provide improvement to the way our prisons operate and manage. And it is important that we support the removal of any obstacles that will prevent managing prisoners in a manner that is safe. It is also important that we support the removal of any obstacles that will prevent managing prisoners in a manner that is secure and humane. It is also important that we support removal of any obstacles that will prevent managing prisoners in a manner that is effective and efficient. Now, some of these points would be addressed in proposed changes to delegation, which reflect in clauses 14, 16, 17, 18, and possibly 42. However, New Zealand First will continue to strongly oppose the use of private firms and contractors for the purpose of operating prisons and prison services as per Clause 5. I can't make it clear enough that the incarceration of prisoners should remain and must remain the sole preserve of the state. Circle has been unable to form and build better relationships with the local communities in order to assist with the delivery of rehabilitative initiatives in order to reduce reoffending. Furthermore, its performance, or the Circle's performance, has been way below standards and progress has been extremely slow, if any. I would like to come back to the comments made by the Minister. You said that Circle was performing well, and I would like to ask the Minister why the prisoners are then being locked up for longer hours in Mount Eden Corrections Facility, and is it the view of the corrections that Circle's rehabilitation initiative is to send the prisoners to the gym and then record those as rehabilitation hours? I do agree that education opportunities should be made available for prisoners, but make sure that they are the right educational programs. Rehabilitation is a good thing, but there must be relevant and effective initiatives by the right providers. I also would like to pick up on the comments that David Clinton has made, that staff on the floor, not the staff in National Office or Ivory Towers, but staff on the floors will do this country a lot of good if they were the one that are being sent overseas to get more learning and be exposed to new ideas. I also like to pick up the comments by Jackie Dean on container unit. I think Jackie Dean is misinformed, because those container units became outrageously cost a lot more. They were more expensive, which crushed the national government's cost-saving plan. And I do wonder who or where you're getting your information from. I want to now come back to the medical officer allocation. The fact that this bill aims to fix the current loopholes within the Corrections Act means it is a step in the right direction. The amendment to Section 20(1) in Clause 8 helps address medical treatment of prisoners in prisons, but I want to say to David Clinton that prisoners are probably getting the most effective service in the way of healthcare. I have to say that I've been there and I've worked in that environment, and they've got the best service available to them in the way of dental care and health compared to those who are actually outside of the prison walls. This will also ensure accountability to the protection and safety of our communities and reduces the delays as well as additional requirements for escort staff in transporting prisoners to and from the hospitals. These are taxpayers' money, so I'm standing up for what's in the best interest of our country as well. This amendment bill must incorporate safety mechanisms that will honour those dedicated men and women who provide security, public safety for our country. It has been said that enforcing rule of law and maintaining public order are inseparable, and they form the bedrock of a civilised society and sound liberal democracy. The new Clause 31A to allow an authorised person such as non-custodial staff to read prisoner mail. Mr. Chair.
Senati Lole-Taylor.
Thank you. To allow staff to read prisoner mail will contribute to operational efficiency within the prison environment, and I think it is a wonderful idea. Now, I want to now come back to the response that we put forward to the Law and Order Committee. We do believe the strip search of prisoners can be enhanced in using different approach than what has been incorporated into the Corrections Amendment Bill. Mr. Chair, the other thing I want to address in here is the property claims. New Zealand First supports clear processes in the area of lost and stolen property of prisoners. Savings can be made in this area, especially in processing of such claims. Now, clear guidelines that will transfer the liability of prisoners must be laid in order to clearly determine accountability. This is an area that used to frustrate me when I was working in that environment. And I still believe, Minister, if you would consider reinstating the clause in the old penal institution legislation of 1954. Minister, I think this will really do the corrections a lot of good. This clause will give the power to a visiting justice or adjudicator of the corrections to impose certain punishments and penalty which include a loss of remission on any sentence, and I think it is relevant that that clause should be reinstated. I would also like to emphasise on cultural perspective within the prison environment. Cultural perspectives should also be incorporated into staff training programs in order for staff to understand and deal efficiently with major ethnic population in our prisons. That will contribute to the effective delivery of rehabilitation programs within the prison environment. So New Zealand First recognises that this bill has some merit, although it does not address all the issues that we have identified. But overall, the bill will improve a number of areas within the corrections operation environment. I now would like to touch on the smoking ban. And thank you, Minister. I know that you've invited me to come and meet with you. And you might not like the response I'm going to give you now, but it is an important part that you need to know.
I think the member's getting into part
Minister,
3.
Part 3, yeah.
Well, it's saying we're on part 1. So
okay, so I'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Mark Mitchell.
I move that the